Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Highly Taken podcast. I am in the car this time, so I'm David Seabird coming at you from Wakulla, Florida today.
My boy out there in Wakulla, Florida.
Wakulla, Florida, home place of Nigel Bradham.
Interesting. I guess Christian's probably at
Maryland.
Houston.
Yeah, it was lagging a little bit, man. Chill.
Okay, it happens. Nick back at you in Jacksonville. Hey, let's get it, guys.
And so, it's the weekend, I guess. I'm currently at a kid's birthday party, so if you hear a bunch of kids in the background, that's what it is.
Yeah. No big deal.
It's currently the weekend, so I guess we can do Gone in 60 Seconds.
Ooh.
Okay, all right. I like it.
Natasha has a question for you.
I wonder what we can rant about today.
What can we rant about? I got you. Let's talk about how bad the Philly fan base, not how bad the Philly fan base is, but the coaches on the Eagles are and how bad and how they lost this team. I just saw a picture of Dallas Goedert flicking off Jalen Hurts. When a teammate's flicking off another person, there's something going on there, right? And it's up to the coaches to stop that from happening. And something's going on in Philly right now, and it needs to be handled. Something serious is happening. Sirianni needs to step up and take responsibility for everything that happened this year, along with the coaches. Matt Patricia, see you later, gone. We don't need you anymore. You showed how bad you are against bad teams. I would have been okay with you not calling plays, yet you were out there doing your thing. Yeah. Let's throw out the fact that Tennessee, please take our offensive coordinator. He is the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen. David, when you showed me that picture of the middle being wide open, that wasn't the first time. I looked at it, and it was all year that was happening. They left the middle wide open. Nobody was going into the middle. No quick slants, nothing. That's where Dallas Goedert lives, is in that middle with those quick slants. They never used him. They never utilized it at all this year, and it's frustrating. And that's a coach. That's on the coaches. So shame on all of those coaches. And honestly, I like Sirianni, but if he doesn't take the responsibility, I want him out in Philly as well.
Yeah, and we've been saying all year it's the play calling. This team is almost the same exact offense, minus you replaced Miles Sanders with DeAndre Swift this year as it was last year. And there's absolutely no reason why, like you said, on those pictures where there's no receivers running to the middle of the field when the middle of the field is wide open. I mean, you look at the stats this year. Jalen Hurts barely throws across the middle. Like I said, one of the big things that we didn't do this year that we did last year were RPOs. You make them think they're going to run the ball. We have a great run game. You make them think Jalen Hurts may run the ball himself because he can run. And then you also have A.J. Brown coming across the middle, who is a great big receiver, big body who can get the ball. I don't think I saw one RPO the entire year. So, it's definitely his play calling. If they're going to stick with Sirianni, I really hope we get some good offensive coordinators to fill around him. And if not, there's some good head coaches out there that they can get if they really want to switch head coaches.
Hey, we can always just do a complete switch and let's get Vrabel. I'm okay with having him as our coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Christian?
Yeah, look, guys, my whole thing is with when it comes down to the Sirianni situation in the Eagles, man, is you keep him. You keep him for another year. There's a bunch of great coaches on the market, and so I understand too that in a way, if it doesn't work out, you're almost kind of screwing yourself because the market is so hot right now. I know Belichick, though, he's already off to Atlanta, so that's out the question. Vrabel's a very hot name that nobody has seemed to interview or talk to at all yet, which is kind of very surprising to me. If that continues that way, though, why would that? I feel like if you're Philly, you need to throw the house down for him to be your defensive coordinator. You really do at that point because there's nobody. You don't have a certified guy on the defensive side of the ball calling plays that you can keep there. Obviously we had to go through Desai and then all the way to Patricia. Both did not do well. I thought Desai was honestly a better coach than Patricia was. I thought the defense just looked even worse coming into the final of it. What you got to say to that, Nick?
No, Desai, you got to think of you made the change in Desai. He did okay. You got to think of the teams he played and was going up against versus the teams Patricia went up against. The two different. He had the Giants twice, and the Giants absolutely demolished them. And they had exactly. And Desai had the Cowboys, he had the Niners, teams that are actually good. Granted, I don't think you should be giving up that many points, but Patricia was such a garbage play call. Play calling was so bad. It was so predictable.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, but on the lines of football, I mean, we have some great games coming up.
We do?
This week. So if you want to talk about that, I guess first game we're talking about one of the games being played soon is going to be the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good one. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, look, guys, today is going to be I actually love the slate of games that we have today. Between Baltimore playing at home against the Texans, and then look, dude, I can tell you this much, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that the Texans are going to win this game. However, I know it's opening as a 10-point line. I don't think I think that's way too much. I think this Texans team has already done enough so far to show that, okay, look, we shouldn't be taking this lightly. And so far, it still seems like they're still being taken very lightly. CJ Stroud and them boys, man, they have a whole different demeanor over there in Texas now. It is a completely different team, a different vibe, a different atmosphere in Texas than what it was just a year ago. What it's been for probably the past 3-4 years over there in Texas. Even when Deshaun Watson was still over there, I feel like they still weren't even firing on all cylinders the way that they are right now. And so coming into Baltimore, I don't know if Texans are going to win. Chances are Baltimore will find a way to pull this out and get the dub. However, CJ Stroud is going to get his. He's going to continue to play well today, and he's going to show, against the top defense, look, for years to come, this is going to be a guy that teams will need to fear.
Yeah, and I think one thing we need to look at here is going to be, history. Lamar Jackson, when you look at his postseason history, dude has 4 total touchdowns to 7 turnovers, averaging 13 points a game in all of his playoff games. That's not good.
No.
I mean, this offense is a little bit different, but at the core, it's still a kind of okay receiving for with a Mark Andrews, who I'm not sure he's playing, but I know he was updated from to the team roster shortly, recently. But I mean, that Texans defense was really good against the Browns offense last week. A Browns offense that had been looking hot for the past 4 or 5 games, holding to only 14. Yeah. You have Stingley out there who's playing well at corner. You have a defensive-minded head coach in D'Amico Ryans. It is not out of the question to think that, okay, maybe this Houston Texans offense, who is good at getting those big hitting plays, I think they've gotten like a 65-plus yard touchdown in the last 2 or 3 weeks every single game. And they could throw an upset into the rinse here. I really don't think it happens. I think the Rams have just been that dominant. But 10 points, I think this could come down to one of those last possession type games.
I think starting out at 10 is just a little crazy. And here's what I'm gonna have to say about it. I mean, you touched base on Lamar, not looking great in postseason. Well, here's another thing that I feel like people are gonna overlook too. They sat all their starters the last game of the season. Then they had the bye week. That's 2 weeks. I get it. You want to get fresh legs and stuff, but at the same time, Houston got hot. They're one of the hot. Them and Green Bay are one of the hottest teams in football, and they're both playing today against the top dogs. And I think this is kind of in the favor of Houston right now because they have had to play week in and week out to get in the position where they're at, whereas the Ravens haven't, and they had 2 weeks of rest. And I think that's going to show. And I think if you can get Lamar to start turning the ball over, go back to what he looked like in the beginning of the season when he was still fresh and stuff like that, man, I think Houston could steal this one from them in Baltimore. It's not out of the question at all, right? Obviously Stroud has to show up. That's a tough defense to go up against, but they have to take what that defense gives them. And what I saw when I went to the Jags-Ravens game, they're not the greatest in the middle. So they need to take advantage of that middle and just absolutely beat it down. Whether that's using Singletary, whether that's using Schultz. If they do that, I think they're going to open up that passing game. Like you were saying, have an absolute bomb to Nico Collins because those two can connect. And I don't know, man. Part of me thinks Houston might steal this one. They're just a hot team, hot at the right time. And history tells you if God's on your side, anything's possible, man. I mean, look what Tim Tebow did that one game. And I'm just saying it's not out of the question for him, Stroud, to go out there and throw for 300 yards against the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, I guess we can go into the next one. You're talking about underdogs. Another game today. We have surprise Packers going up against the
Ooh.
arguably best offense in the league with the 49ers.
Yeah, that one's gonna be tough. But here's what I can say is, once again, dude, Jordan Love's the real deal. I think. I feel like that's where we're getting at this point. And it looks like Green Bay has found another quarterback. In the past 30 years, here's number
them.
3. Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Here comes QB number 3 in the past 30 years for Green Bay, somehow continuing to hit on their streak of quarterbacks. But Jordan Love, dude, he's looking real good, and he's only gotten better as the season has gone on. He had, I believe it was week 1, he had this crazy game, and everyone was like, dude, is Love the guy? And then for the next 5 weeks, it was kind of off and on. He was playing okay, but he wasn't playing great.
Streaky.
And then you come down to the last, 6-7 weeks of the year, dude's leading the league in touchdown passes through that last weeks of the year, and he has the least amount of turnovers in that time. The guy is learning how to take care of the ball. He's learning how to move his team up and down the field. But then even to add into that, Aaron Jones is playing a huge factor inside of that offense right now. Being able to have a solid run game right now, just to go, he just went over 125 last week against Dallas. It's going to play another huge factor again here today. San Fran, they have arguably one of the best defensive fronts in the league, but so does Dallas. So whatever you were able to do for Dallas last week, you have to be able to come back and do it again this week, for San Fran. Now, granted, San Fran, they Shanahan came out and already said they've been game planning for them since the second quarter of the Dallas game. You know what I mean? Like, they knew off the bat, they said that they were playing Green Bay. Who cares? Who cares? Jordan Love and all of them have a chance to go out and do something that no one's expecting. And I will say this as well.
I hope so.
That there is a sneakily very good receiver core over there in Green Bay. Very
Crazy.
good. Between
Crazy.
Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, and Jalen Reed, bro. I mean,
and don't forget about Works. Don't forget about Works.
And Works. And you mean Wicks?
Wicks. Yeah. Is it Wicks?
Yeah, it's
Man,
Wicks.
my eyes suck.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's 4 receivers over there, young receivers, year 1 and year 2 receivers that are making huge impacts.
Yeah. And I think we got to look at it this way too. I mean, the offenses are very comparable between the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. I think the big thing's going to be, though, the run game for the Niners is a lot better than the run game for the Cowboys, especially when you look at throughout the course of the season there.
Right.
What people won't tell you, though, is I don't think the corners are that great for the Niners. And so maybe if they're stopping the run, sure, but, you have some iffy corners, some okay safeties up there with the Niners. Who knows? Maybe you tack that and Jordan Love goes off for another great game. It's going to be interesting because, again, they played the Cowboys, who are ranked the number 1 offense going into the postseason, and they shut them down. I mean, they really held them to like 16 points in the first, 3 1/3 quarters of football up until garbage time. So it's going to be really interesting. I think the only reason that I think the Niners will probably end up getting done is just because they do have a way better run game, and I'll be interested to see how the Packers do against McCaffrey running the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, right? Obviously, Niners, they're the more complete team out of the two. But again, another team, McCaffrey's coming off that, injury. So you really don't know what he's going to look like in this game. And you also have to look at it this way too. Same thing. Both Green Bay is hot at the right time. Jordan Love, I mean, the last 6 games, and you keep in mind, you got to remember, those are the games Aaron Jones came back too, right? So they were able to develop that run game, to be able to develop that passing game. And like you said, Christian, those receivers are just mind-blowing. I mean, he's doing things like what Aaron Rodgers did, like taking nobodies and turning them into someone, which is crazy. And I'm telling you, whoever this scout has been since, the 90s, you need to give him some sort of pay raise and bonus for hitting a jackpot 3 different times with the quarterback, because that's nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
Right.
And everything about that game against Dallas, so many of those plays remind me of young Aaron Rodgers, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off that they have another quarterback, so they're going to go out there and be able to deliver like that. It's just crazy. But in this game, I think you're right. David. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think you got to attack that secondary of the Niners to be able to have a chance. And I think the best thing, what Packers should have done this entire week was go back and look at what the Ravens did to the Niners and study that game film and see what they did against that game in that game. Because if you try to replicate what they did and shut them down now, I mean, I would say Green Bay could win this game, but it's going to be hard. Any team that has McCaffrey on, it's kind of hard to go up against because he's just that good. As long as he's not hurt. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I would love to see the Packers take this one out. Niners are my second least favorite team, their second hatest team. I just don't like them. They're just a bunch of cocky assholes. And I don't like it. So I hope Green Bay goes out there and wins.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think not one thing people want to talk about right now. This is really Purdy's only second playoff game starting. This is only his second playoff game that he'll start in. Third maybe. I think it'll be his third playoff game.
I think third.
Yeah, he started against the Eagles. Didn't last long.
True. But he doesn't have that much postseason experience against amazing teams, I feel. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how he does if he gets pressured a lot. Because that Packers defensive line did amazing on pressuring Dak Prescott the last game. And, getting those clean pockets when you have one of the best offensive lines in football, it makes it a lot easier, especially when you have all those weapons. You can just dunk and dive to Deebo Samuels and get how many yards after catch. But it's going to be an interesting game. I think what's also going to be an interesting game is going to be the other NFC game of their, you have the underdog Buccaneers versus the Lions looking to get their second postseason win.
Before you touch base on that, there is no reason for those tickets to be that high for that game. I'm sorry, but $1,100 is your average for a ticket. That's higher than the Eagles.
Crazy.
You can't have anything in Detroit.
That's so true. And not even a playoff win apparently the past couple of years. But maybe that'll change, right? I don't know though, dude. That's my thing, man. And I feel like, I want to say real quick. I would like to say it. It breaks my heart, but I would like to say it. I told you guys, Buccaneers, if they had a game at home in the playoffs, they were going to win. They did. That's, damn shame. But
I agreed with you.
But either way, coming into Detroit, I think Detroit's going to win this game. However, dude, I don't know, man. I love the way Baker Mayfield is playing right now. He's playing some very good football. Now, granted, Philly's defense has been on the down and down the past 5 weeks. You come in and you're playing not a great defense at that point in time. Detroit's defense, it doesn't look like it's been, down and out, but it hasn't been there all the time every year or every game this season. So it's going to be interesting, but I think Detroit's going to figure out a way to win. I think they'll probably win it by about 7 points or so, and take their trip to the NFC Championship.
I think I have to agree with you there. As much as I love Baker, I'm glad what he's turned into. I used to hate Baker just because he would love to talk to the media whenever they talk back to him. Now he's making his play, do the work there. I would love the Bucs to sit there and punch him in the mouth. I just don't think they have the talent matchup or the coaching matchup to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it this way. I would love my perfect Super Bowl right now would be Bills Lions or Texans Lions. I think that's Super Bowl. I would really
like
love
Texans Bucks.
I just talking about two teams who haven't won a Super Bowl at all. That'd be nice for them to go in there and win one, but it's just hard. That Lions team looks so good. The offense was clicking, and then when the offense stopped clicking, the defense was like, "Okay, we'll take over from here," and allowed 6 points in the second half against a really good Rams offense. And the Buccaneers offense just isn't the Rams offense. So I just feel like, I just don't know what the Buccaneers are going to do. Maybe they'll have a different game plan, but I feel like this is going to be a blowout game.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I'm with you on that, David. As much as I would like to see, Baker Mayfield have his, I don't know, like you said, the talent it seems like it's lacking there, based off of Detroit. And I think Dan Campbell just has a way to get his players motivated, and Todd Bowles doesn't. Todd Bowles, I've never seen a facial expression from the guy since he's been a coach in the league. Dan Campbell is the exact opposite, and he's a player's coach. And I think he's going to be able to find a way to get his players hyped for this game. And I think you're right. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Detroit's probably going to win, by 10 to 14 in this one. I just don't. I think Baker solidified himself to be able to have that starting position for next year. But, I got to give it to Baker too. I mean, you go into a situation like he was in last year, right? I mean, he was all over the place last year. Then he goes into the Bucs, goes into that organization and just becomes a leader. And he deserves to have that starting spot, but I just don't know if it's enough to go up against all the weapons that Detroit has on offense. It's going to be tough for them to cover that. Yeah, I mean, and defense, but let alone offense. I mean, if they play that same style of defense like they did against us, they're absolutely screwed because they love hitting the middle on every single play. Detroit lives for those. So I think Detroit's going to win this game at home, take them to the NFC Championship game. And I would love to see Lions, Packers in an NFC Championship game. That would be amazing. That'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be something?
And that's going to get us into the last playoff game, the best playoff game this weekend, probably going to be the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Rematch.
Yeah, feels like we see this damn matchup every year now. Or you know what I mean? But it's how it goes with two of the best quarterbacks in football. I feel like this is the year Josh Allen knocks off Patrick Mahomes, though. I really do. I mean, that Buffalo offense is flying high. They're soaring right now. They know what they're doing. They're running the ball effectively. They're passing the ball effectively. There's really no flaws in the game plan right now. Now, granted, the Chiefs have been the Bills' kryptonite for the past couple of years. So I don't know if they will 100% get the job done, but you're playing this one finally in Buffalo. You're not on the road anymore. You get to be at home. You get a chance to really show, hey, look, we can do this. We made the adjustments. This is our year. So go ahead and do it. I think it's going to be a closer game than people expect. I think it would probably be sitting somewhere around a 3-point game, game-winning field goal, whether it comes from Buffalo or whatnot. But I think that's probably where you're going to be sitting. But I think Buffalo will finally get its job done, and they're going to find themselves, taking a trip to the AFC Championship game against Texans.
And you know what? This game is always close. It really is. No matter if it's regular season, no matter if it's preseason or postseason. When we saw them play earlier, it came down to an offensive offsides. That was what the game came down to, truthfully. Correct call, by the way, Patrick Mahomes, but an offensive offsides. And this Bills team, they are hot. They have not lost the game since the overtime loss to the Eagles. And, they're playing at home. And, the offense for the Kansas City Chiefs isn't looking good. You look last week, they won 26-7, sure, but, 14 of those points are off of their kicker with 4 field goals and 2 extra points. And so, this offense is not good for the Chiefs. And so it's just going to be interesting to see how they go. I feel like, I think we nailed it on the head last week. The Bills, we nailed that offense. We said Kincaid, Knox going to go out there, and the run game is going to have to be Moss and Allen, and we knocked that out of the park. And I think you're going to see the same thing today, the more balanced attack with those two rushing the ball and with the ball being thrown. I mean, give credit where credit's due. That defense for Kansas City is amazing and doesn't get enough credit. But when your offense is really your kryptonite, you're playing away, I think finally Josh Allen gets the last laugh in this one.
It's funny, man. Kansas City statistically in the past years has had one of the worst defense in the league, right? Now they have arguably top 5 best Kansas City defense I've seen in probably my whole life, in all honesty. They've done some things that I'm surprised about. But now it's the offense holding them back. They don't have any weapons on offense anymore. Travis Kelce's having a terrible year. I feel like Taylor Swift's draining him with their witchcraft. But, neither here nor there. He's not having a good year. Here's what I'll say. You guys think this game's going to be close? I don't think this game's going to be close. I think the Bills are out for blood. They finally have their rematch against them in the playoffs. I think at home, I think the Bills are going to win by 10 in this game. I think they're just going to they're going to go out there. They're out for blood, man. They won it, man. But the Chiefs, they don't look like they really won it. If the only reason, in my opinion, that they beat Miami last week was because of the weather. I think if that was in a neutral site, in a dome, I think Miami was going to win that game because they're built to play in that type of weather, not built to play in the cold weather, So they could use a very, easy, run. They were just, it was a very small playbook that they were using in that game. And they that's all they could do. And not to mention, let's put in the effect too. Kansas City was only kicking field goals that game. I would have loved to have Butker on my team for fantasy that week, but I'm telling you, man, something about this team, and it was crazy. And I keep saying this, man, they're doing it without Diggs. Everybody else is coming together and wanting to be a part of this offense and getting the job done. And this is the first time I will say they finally look like they're a complete team on offense and not using 1 to 2 people on every. It's every play. It seems like they're going to someone else. And David, I got to give credit to you, man. You said it straight up. They need to use Knox and Kincaid, and we agreed. But you were the one that said it. And if they continue to do that, I'm telling you, this game will not be close. It will not be close at all.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing is when it's something we've been saying since the beginning of the season, even before the season started with this Buffalo team, is they need to be able to rely on everybody that's not named Josh Allen. And the first several weeks they weren't doing that. And they finally run the ball with Moss more, and you see how this team flipped like that. I mean, they became a team that we thought was going to miss the playoffs to a team who was the 2nd seed. And what's even crazier, this is going to be the first away game for Patrick Mahomes. That's not a Super Bowl away game. The Super Bowl's on neutral sites. It's going to be the first true away game for Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of crazy in itself. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they always end up getting to the championship game in the AFC.
Well, I mean, Patty Mahomes, every year he's been a starter, has been at least to the AFC Championship game. But
well, not this year.
Yeah, well, we'll
I
see.
wouldn't even be wouldn't be surprised if the game is 33-17. I'm telling you, man.
Crazy.
Nah, but you're right though, David. We said a lot about it earlier on this year that the offense in Buffalo seemed very one-dimensional. Like it was just everybody knew, okay, look, you just got to stop Allen. You know what I mean? There's no stop Allen, cover Diggs. There's no weapons anywhere else. They're not doing anything. I mean, we sat here on one segment and talked for probably 20 minutes about what that Bills offense could do and what it could add to it and this, that, and the third, free agents, everything. And now, I mean, they look fine. You know what I mean? Like they look completely fine. There's no issues there, and it's all, again, it's just like you said, it's just getting everybody involved. It's getting that run game finally going, letting Cook go crazy, letting Josh Allen finally run with his legs again. And instead of just airing the ball out all the time, getting those 2 very athletic, very good tight ends and Kincaid and Knox into the game. You know what I mean?
And isn't it crazy though that the big turnaround was really when they fired their offensive coordinator? If only there was a certain team in the NFC East who would have thought about doing the exact same thing to make them use their talent a little bit better, maybe they would have had a different season.
Who's calling the plays there now?
Ivory is calling the plays. I think they have some interim guy calling the plays right now. I mean, I don't know who's calling the plays. I thought, if the Eagles would have done the exact same thing. Yeah, right. If they would have done the exact same thing, who knows?
Yeah, Eagles need to get a whole set of coordinators up in that, John.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Sirianni's supposed to have a meeting with everybody
yesterday?
No, it's supposed to be Monday. Monday is the meeting. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I hope it's I hope it's you either get rid of everybody here and start fresh or you're out. I hope that's how it goes. I really do. But I mean, guys, it's football playoffs. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better than this, right? And this is what we live for. And I'm with you. I want Bills, Texans, or Lions and Packers at this point. That's what I'm hoping for. That's a perfect world for me.
Perfect world for me would be if both these teams upset today and I cashed out these fire parlays.
I got to get with you to place a parlay.
So if we're talking parlays, it is the weekend. Christian, you got anything for us?
Yeah, guys, I just today I just created a new ESPN bet account because why not? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you guys the parlay that I crafted up. It's a little 4-legger, nothing crazy. 5 to win 85. Take it as you want. I said Gus Edwards scores a touchdown. Devin Singletary scores a touchdown. Houston Texans plus 13.5. And then CJ Stroud over 1.5 passing touchdowns. That's $5 into 85.
So you flex the 13.5?
Yep.
Interesting. I don't mind that, dude. But I think you should have just taken the Texans straight on. I think straight back.
Bro, it's cool. I already placed a separate. I got $100 in free play today, so I placed a separate $20 bet on Texans straight.
Nice. I mean, unless you guys have anything to talk about, I mean, we can, if you want to go ahead, we can go straight into dubs and chugs right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't want to talk about anything else,
we can always talk about something else after dubs and chugs.
We certainly
Dude,
can.
next episode we need to get a quiz on your face going. I feel like we haven't had a quiz in a minute.
Yes,
we can, yeah.
we do. Yes, we do. All right, guys. Obviously, it's the end of the year. Sports are kind of slow, so we're gonna have some NBA and we're gonna have some NFL, just like we did last week. So I'll start with the NBA with some games today.
Should
We
throw
got
hockey in there
this.
next time.
I can still throw some hockey in there now. We got I'm not gonna put our team in there because every time we do, it's bad. We're gonna go with Raptors versus Knicks, guys.
Ooh, Raptors first at the Knicks?
Yes.
I'll take the Raptors.
This is going to be an interesting game because you have the Raptors who made a lot of good moves, but they just got rid of Siakam. So I'm going to give the Knicks here. I feel like the Knicks are a better team. Siakam's gone from the Raptors. That stinks. He's now a Pacer. If you didn't know that,
Good
but
for the
I'm going to give the
Pacers.
Knicks here. Halliburton and Siakam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, you got to give it. It's in New York. Give it to the Knicks here. I mean, like you said, they're a better team over there. So I'll go Knicks too. Guys, we've been hot on this team, and I think I'm gonna keep them in here. We're gonna go Oklahoma City versus the T-Wolves.
Ooh, that's a game right there. That's at Timberwolves.
Yep, it's in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that's going to take me to go against Minnesota at home. So I think I'll go with the Timberwolves there.
Yeah, I think I'd go the Timberwolves here too. Very great matchup. I just feel like Anthony Edwards is better than Shaw Alexander, and I think with Cat being up against Holmgren there, I feel like he's just bigger, more physical, and I feel like he's gonna dominate the paint down low, getting some second chance points there. So I'm gonna pick the T-Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, and look, history repeats itself, right? Every week we've been playing T-Wolves. We've all been picking them. So I'm not going to go against them now. We've all been getting it right. So at home, Timberwolves are so good. And Thunder, surprising team this year, but you got to go Timberwolves in this one. Next game, we're going to go Spurs versus Wizards.
Wow, battle of the shitters. Spurs. Is Wemby back yet? I don't know. You know what, dude? Give me Kyle Kuzma and company. Give me the Wizards.
Hey, he's worth a first-round draft pick, baby.
Apparently, two, I think it was. But I think I'm going to go with the Spurs here. If you guys didn't know, Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are the two people in last place in plus minus in the whole NBA. That's not good. I'm going to go with the Spurs here.
This team has been the most cocky team that's so bad. I remember at the beginning, Poole and Kuzma thought that they were going to be the best duo in basketball, right? Man,
you thought that?
And they thought that. Thought that. Man, you know what? I'm thinking that today. I think the Wizards are going to get this one done. We'll go one more NBA game because we have to do 9 and then another game. So we're going to go. We'll go Grizzlies versus Bulls.
I think I'll take the Grizzlies. Give me Ja.
I'm going to take Bulls here. I think Grizzlies are missing too much. Ja's out for the year now. I think Marcus Smart's still injured. I'm going to go with the Bulls.
Oh, I didn't even know Ja was out for the year. Slick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he came back and went out immediately. Yeah, but unfortunately, Memphis plays better without Ja. But I'm going to take Bulls at home in this one. I think the Bulls are going to get this one.
Bro, what is that in the background?
Guys, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to pick a couple NHL games. So first game, guys, we're going to go Penguins versus Golden Knights.
I don't know anything about hockey, but I'll take the night.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's not doing too well this year. Memory serves correct. Maybe they are doing well. I've been paying attention to the Flyers, but I think the Golden Knights have the best record in hockey right now, so I'm gonna have to go with Vegas.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bet against Vegas, right? Vegas.
Vegas always wins.
Vegas always wins no matter what. So yeah, I was hoping that would have had Christian slip up a little bit, pick the Penguins, but I'm gonna go Vegas here too, guys. Curious on this one. We got the Dallas Stars versus the New Jersey Devils.
Well, I can't take anything related to Dallas, so I'll just take the Devils.
Ooh,
Uh, so the Devils aren't playing too good of hockey right now. They're not doing awful. They're not playing too good, but the Dallas is doing really well this year, and I'm going to pick the Stars.
Not sure if you saw the game last night, but the Devils won 4-1 against the Blue Jackets. Here's the thing, man. They just won 4-1, and they're playing in New Jersey. Devils are at home. Playing at home always gives you that edge, right? So I'm definitely gonna pick the hot Dallas Stars going on right now. I think Dallas is gonna get this one done against my team, unfortunately.
All right, well, your team plays tonight. Does our team play tonight?
They're playing right now, and last time I checked, they're losing 4-2 to Colorado.
Ah, damn it.
Which is a good team.
They're losing 7-4 to Colorado.
Dude, this is a whole football game. They're about to score more points than the Eagles did.
It's terrible.
That is sad. That is so sad.
You're so sad.
You don't even know. You don't even know. So anyway, we'll go into obviously the playoff games, man. We'll just go straight off the board. We'll go Texans versus Ravens.
Oh man. Look, dude, I think there's an upset today, and I think it's gonna be the Texans. I think they get it done. Give me the Texans.
I'm just gonna do what I did last week, where I want the Texans to win, but I just think that the Ravens are just too better of a complete team. I'm gonna pick the Ravens.
I like this. We did this last week, and just for this, David, I'm gonna go with you because I said the same exact thing. We want them to win, but I don't think they're gonna win. I think the Ravens are a better team, so I'm gonna take the Ravens as well. So next game, we got the Packers versus the Niners.
Yeah. Again, give me the Packers plus 9.5. No, I think I'll take the Niners there.
Yeah, I really hope they get it done. Shout out to my friend David Tolan, big Packers fan. Hopefully they can knock off our two biggest rivals, because apparently the Eagles and Niners are rivals now. Didn't know that until this past year.
It's a new one.
I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to pick the Niners here.
Yeah, it's funny. It seems like the Niners have always been the Packers' kryptonite, right? Aaron Rodgers could never play the Niners well in the postseason. So I don't know, but I think that changes. I think Kevin Love. Wow, Jordan Love's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna make a show. He's gonna make an appearance there in the game. I think Jordan Love's gonna go out there, and I think he's gonna have himself a game. And that Packers defense is sneakily good. So don't sleep on them either. So I think the Packers are gonna steal this game here. I really hope they do. Next game, guys, we're gonna switch it up because I want to keep the other one. Actually, no, we go Bucks versus Lions.
Not bad. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I just think as much as the Buccaneers have been this Cinderella story this year, I just feel like they're outmanned and outgunned. I'm gonna have to go with the Lions.
Yeah, I mean I agree. I think that out of all, as far as matchups considered, I think the Lions just have a better team. So I think Lions are going to easily win this game. Next game, tiebreaker game, got the Chiefs versus the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, we were all in agreement earlier. I feel like that the Bills are going to come out and handle this one. So I'm going to go. Give me 28-24 Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the lines there. I feel like the only way Kansas City wins this game is if they hold Buffalo under 20 points. And I think Buffalo's going to win this game 24-20.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Buffalo has been able to get the ball turned over and help that offense. Kansas City has been very good at turning the ball over this year, as they weren't last year and the years before that. I think Buffalo's going to get this one done at home. Obviously everybody's looking forward to this game. But like I said before, I don't think this is going to be as close as everyone thinks. I think I'll switch it up. I'm going to go with Bills winning 33-17. I really do think it's going to be 33-17. Telling you.
It's technically a two-possession game, but
it is. Yeah. It is, but that's crazy for the matchup that is. But
I'm waiting for that key Josh Allen turnover. Hopefully it doesn't come, but
that's what I'm saying, right?
Keep
is it
saying
inevitable?
That, please.
Is
keep
it
saying
inevitable?
Please keep saying that because every time you say it, it doesn't happen. So I need you to keep saying it.
Look, dude, they
You're
played a
welcome,
crappy Pittsburgh Steelers team in the first round, and they almost let that Pittsburgh team come back. Okay, I'm just saying that's how it went. You know what I mean? And trust me, they had Mason Rudolph quarterbacking. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes quarterbacking. It was Mason freaking Rudolph quarterbacking.
I will argue Mason Rudolph didn't look terrible the last
No,
few
that's
weeks of the season.
okay. That's great, but do you want to argue Mason Rudolph and Patrick Mahomes? Because I would love to hear this argument.
I'm not making any arguments.
Who would you rather have, Nick? Mason Rudolph or Patty Mahomes?
Jared Goff. And I should have listened to my gut back in the first freaking week instead of listening to some fool. Because right now, I'm telling you, I take Jared Goff over Mahomes. The season Mahomes has had this year.
I mean, that is kind of a crazy take.
I feel like if Mahomes had Amon-Ra St. Brown to throw to, and a little bit, he probably would also be a little bit better. But credit credit's due. That offense is doing well, and Campbell has been doing well over with that offense. In other news, stay in the football. Bill O'Brien, former Texans coach, former Bama coach, now offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
It's very interesting. That's honestly if there was a person I would say would never get that job, it would be him. I never in a million years would have thought he would be at Ohio State. Like, I feel like he's just like as he's going on, he's progressively downgrading in his life where everyone normally goes up. He's just gotten worse and worse. Like he was the GM and he was the coach, and then he was just the coach, and then he lost that. Like, oh man, I would have thought he would be offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
I mean, I think the interesting thing here too is if Ohio State has another bad year, I could see a future where they fire Ryan Day and just put Bill O'Brien as the head coach of Ohio State. So it's very interesting. Christian, what do you have to think?
Well, I mean, that is pretty interesting. I haven't really known Bill O'Brien to really been that great of a coach nor coordinator. Just barring by his time through the NFL, as Nick said, you don't usually
downgrading.
Usually upgrade as time goes on. You don't usually just get demoted and then demoted and then demoted and then out of the NFL in total. So I mean, but I will stay real quick though in your touching base of college ball. Florida's under investigation, boys. I knew I should have entered the portal. I knew I should have hopped in when I had the freaking chance, man.
It's kind of a BS. It's kind of a BS investigation, right? The player wanted a certain amount of money, and they told him they weren't going to give it to him. So he went to Arizona State, and his reasoning for going to Arizona State was because his dad played there, and he wanted to follow in his footsteps. Man, don't be an asshole. I'm not falling for your stupid tricks. They gave you $12 million, and you didn't even to go and play for Arizona State. Of course, you're going to take that. Whereas Florida said, we're not giving you the deal. They never signed any papers, so they can go on an investigation. I don't think anything's going to come out of it.
I guess that's not what I heard. I thought they said they did agree on the deal, and they just didn't have the money, so they didn't give it to him. That's why he did transfer. But
you're talking about a Power 5 SEC school who didn't have the money.
They had the money. He was going there to sign the contract. He was in Miami, then took the trip to Gainesville, going to sign the contract, and never signed it. Walked out.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to chase money at this point, and again, there needs to be some more rules and regulations with the whole NIL stuff. I mean, like I said, Florida State just got trouble for NIL just because the coach drove him to the booster's house, and that was the reason why.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
You can pay players millions of dollars, but you can't drive them to the place to sign the contract. That's a no-no.
That's tampering, dude.
Yeah, I mean, granted, as stupid as it is a rule, and I feel like even if it is dumb, everybody's getting paid. I still feel like you're stupid as a coach to drive the kid to yourself if you know the rules. I mean, heck, it's a rule. It's against the rules to give somebody cream cheese for their bagel. You give them the bagel, but you can't give them the cream cheese, which is crazy to think about.
Listen, he should know the rules, man. I mean, you have money, just buy him an Uber or something. Pay for a private transportation there. Like, do something like that.
No, because then if you're paying for private transportation, then I mean, you're still funding him to go to the house. I'm not sure how the rules work.
What if you're just walking by the guy and you accidentally drop $40 on the ground and he picks that up and orders himself an Uber?
Interesting thought. Interesting take. I like it.
What if you're outside of a Dick's Sporting Goods and you find some money in the bushes and you buy a whole set of new golf clubs?
I feel like I know someone that did that. They got like $200 that they found in that bush. Bought a whole brand new set. Man, that must be nice. I'm looking for my money in the bush right now. I need to find it, especially I have a wedding to pay for. That'd be nice. I don't know, man.
Just go to Vegas before the wedding and then gamble if we get the money.
So how about this? Since we're gonna talk
Dave
about
is on to something.
How about Talia getting the NFL players to back him, saying that they should allow him to play another year of college ball? What do we think about that?
I feel like after look, the whole granting 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and apparently 9th seasons, okay, in NCAA is getting out of fucking hand, bro. I don't know how this is a thing. I don't know how you've been in college for 9 years. I don't know how you feel competent knowing that you've been on a college team for 9 freaking years. Bro, give it up. Give it up. You're not going to the league, okay? You're 26 years old. It's just not happening. Go work. Go pay your taxes. Go do
Hold
something.
on, but here's the thing. The guy that's on his 9th season, he's actually smart in the long run. The dude's going to come out with a master's degree, if not more, in this amount of time. He might have a doctorate for free.
Dude, it's just funny because Talia doesn't deserve it because he didn't have career any injuries. He played more than 4 games at Bama, so he lost that year. And so he's used all his eligibility up. At least with the Miami dude, he's like blown his knee out like multiple times. At the end of the day, it's crazy to think that a guy who's in the same recruiting class at Oregon with Justin Herbert has played 5 more college years after Justin Herbert had left. That's absolutely insane to me. But I mean, like you said, it's smart. You know, with NIL, you're getting paid for that. You know, you're getting free college, so not come out freaking have your doctorate, even if it's a worthless doctorate. You're out here looking like Doc McStuffins. I think like you're still getting a lot of bang for your buck playing 9 years in college.
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Hey, the way I look at it, man, he had some good years. I mean, he obviously has the passing record for the Big Ten now, right? I mean, I guess the only thing I could think of is, you know, he thinks he has one more year to kind of prove himself to be able to go into the NFL. But I'm a Maryland fan. Has he had some great success? Absolutely. But he's had more games that were bad and he looked bad than he did good. And I don't know how that translates in the NFL. He might be a 3rd-string quarterback, practice squad. But the only reason he's getting that position is because of his brother and where he's at right now. He's not getting anything else, in my opinion. He's not a quarterback that I would be worried about by any means.
Yeah. Plus, we all know, you know, and he's played in Maryland, so he's gonna suck. You know, it's just how it goes.
We're just talking about the quarterback position, right?
Well, you know, I mean, as long as your name isn't Stephon Diggs, then yeah.
Vernon Davis.
Garbage.
Oh, Vernon
Davis?
You're on crack if you think Vernon Davis wasn't good.
Yeah, he was a baller.
Yeah, I have to leave here soon because we're about to start driving. I had something I wanted to talk about real quick, but I guess I completely just blanked on it.
You tell me what you wanted to talk about. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, tell us about UTIs.
No. What?
Fun fact, just drink cranberry juice.
Yeah, they're
Why are you so sad?
I forgot to talk about it, but I think I have to go here. I have to start driving. I have a kid in the car. But
yeah. All set. Hey, everyone, go ahead. Enjoy the games this weekend. I'm telling you, my favorite game this weekend is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Minnesota Timberwolves. Love that matchup this week. But as always, enjoy the weekend. Have a couple drinks. Watch some football. We only have a few more weeks of it. But as always, we'll see you guys later.
Deuces.
We dive into the game from hoops to gridiron, analyzing every play like we were the champion. With witty banter and humor, we keep it fun. HTP fam, we always bring the #1. Highlight taking pockets, we taking over the scene. We drop dubs and chugs, living the sports dream. From hot takes to deep dive, it's a winning regime. Come join the hype, we not just blowing steam.